What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's always a huge thanks for coming back. I really appreciate it. So I know that we've been gone for a little while. I'll explain that later, but today we've got a couple of projects going on the shop. I want to show you some new tools, so let's get right to it. Okay, so this week we actually ran out of consumables for the plasma table. I ordered them like a week ago, but they got delayed for whatever reason in the mail, so we're not cutting this weekend, but we've got some pretty cool projects going on. The first of it is my welder, my buddy, wanted to build his own welding table because mine wasn't good enough for him. So we got a 1/2-inch plate of steel, some nice tubing, and he actually did a pretty good job building it, doing some reinforcement. And then, as you can see, we got it pierced on a 4x4 grid, I believe. So this is going to be kind of like a fixture table too. And I'm actually going to be showing you a tool that we're going to be using to make those holes that I'm actually pretty excited about. And then we'll also be, the reason why the plasma is up here is because we're actually going to be making a rack for it and mounting it on the wall, because it's been sitting under the table now for quite a while. And as you can see, it gets pretty dirty. So like I said, I want to kind of take it away from this thing, mount it on the wall, and I think it'll be a much nicer setup. I also got this thing, which I'm hoping makes a pretty big difference with the plasma consumables and the cut quality. And that's basically just an air dryer. And the deal with plasmas is that you want the air as dry as possible. And I've been having a lot of moisture issues with my air. And I basically just have a couple of filters here. A decascent filters there, one there, and then a couple over there by the compressor. But it hasn't, I feel at least that it still has a lot of moisture in the lines. Like, this is how some of my consumables have been coming out, and they're basically shouldn't be black like this. As far as I'm aware, that color is a big indicator that there's moisture. So I'm hoping that this kind of helps us really dry it out. Like I said, my buddy's gonna finish welding this thing, then we'll flip it over and I'll start drilling those holes for the fixture table. So yeah. Okay, so if you guys remember, a couple months ago we did that video on that really cheap, inexpensive MIG welder, the flux core, and the same people that sent me that welder to test out, they liked the video so much that they sent me another tool. And this is basically what they sent me. So let's go ahead and open it up because I'm actually pretty excited about it. As you can see, this thing's packaged pretty decently well. It's got some really thick, like 3/4 inch cardboard. So yeah, let me go ahead and finish opening this thing up and then I'll show you what's in there. Okay, and this is basically what we have. We have a mag drill or magnetic drill from VWard. Again, like I said, the guys sent us that welder last time, and I'm actually super excited about this thing because I've always wanted one of these things. Me being an iron worker, I have literally drilled thousands of holes with drills like these ones, except the name brand ones, like the Hogan drills, as they're also known. So I've never really tried one from another company or an expensive one. If you don't know, those Hogan magnetic drills, they're like $1,500. This bad boy is $200, I believe. So it's a huge savings. And I feel that for, again, someone like me that is not doing thousands of holes with one of these things, this should be, should be good. Like I said, I'm really excited about it. It comes with not a lot of things, so it's just the drill. They sent this coolant reservoir, but no hose. It's okay. Well, actually, no, never mind. It's right there. I couldn't see it because it's clear, but it's right there. They sent it. You've got a little safety strap, which if you're doing any overhead drilling or even vertical, a strap for these things is a must. I've had a lot of close calls with these things, and trust me, you don't want those things falling down because they are not light. Like, this is easily 35 pounds. So these things are not light. And then they send you some tools. But yeah, again, super excited about this thing. If you've never seen one of these things or don't know what they are, they're basically a drill press, but they have a electromagnet at the bottom. So obviously anything that's steel, magnetic, you flip it on and it pretty much glues itself to whatever surface you're using. And with magnets, the thicker the plate, the better it'll hold on. So like these things might not work really well like a really thin sheet metal. For our big 1/2-inch plate, it should do great. These things don't use like regular drill bits. Let me show you what I got. These things, you can get a chuck for them and use a regular drill bit, but they're really meant for these types of bits. These are called annular bits, I believe, and they shoot through steel. Like I said, I'm gonna show you because I've got a butt ton of holes to drill. But it comes with this pin, and the reason why you have that pin is really important. You want to have a basically a center, a little center for it to I guess center itself. Without, if you just try and drill like through straight metal like this thing will walk on you really bad. So as you can see, we've got a whole bunch of pilot holes pierced into this thing with the laser. My buddy, my welder, had this plate cut at his full-time job on a laser. Now, it would have been more expensive, and their laser, they said that it wouldn't leave a nice perfect hole like we wanted for these things. So we just chose for them to just pierce a grid on it. Now that being said, you don't need to pierce a whole hole. You just got to do a center punch. So you can do your own grid, center punch it, and then use one of these things. And again, once you see how this thing works, trust me, you're gonna want one. So I'm gonna go ahead, put this together, and show you a couple of holes. Okay, now, so the way that you set up one of these things is you're gonna have two Allen bolts set screws on this thing. You gotta basically unscrew, not all the way, but just enough so that this thing can actually go up in it. And then the bits, as you can see, have two flat sides. They basically correspond to the set screws. And this thing's basically ready. We're gonna plug it into power and test it out. Okay, so as far as power, you actually have two on and off switches. One is for the magnet, the other one's for the motor. Usually, at least in the name brands, you can't turn on the motor without the magnet being on. So let's test this out because that's a very, very important safety feature. So, okay, that's good. So now we'll turn on the magnet. And as you were able to see, the motor now turns on. Again, that's a very, very important safety feature. Another thing that I want to test out is to see if I can unstick it from the metal, if it'll turn off, because again, that's another very important safety feature. So, or I guess let's do this. Okay, so that failed. So that basically means that if you're drilling and this thing comes unstuck, it's not gonna turn itself off. That's one of the safety features that the more expensive drills have, and again, it's a really important safety feature. So it kind of sucks that this one doesn't have it, but this thing is $200. So I mean, you can't ask for everything. Now I want to see if I can notice a lot of runoff with this thing. So. So I would say no, it doesn't have that much runoff. I think what wiggles the most is this centering pin, but that has to do with the drill bit, not the actual drill. So far I think it's a pretty good drill for the money, but we haven't made any holes with it yet. So let's go ahead and drill one out. So again, the way these things work is, I don't know if you can see, but we have one of these pilot holes pierces that we did, And what you want to do is take that centering pin and have it centered super nice and centered over that hole. That feels pretty good. Turn on your magnet, get some lube, and drill out the hole. So okay, so I dropped a few drops of lube, and let's go ahead and try this thing out. Also, you definitely want to have on glasses. Okay, and there we go. That was real time on that thing. I didn't speed it up or anything. That was how fast this thing can drill through 1/2-inch metal. Again, show me something that can drill through metal faster than that. Drill. That thing was, it's amazing. It's a life changer, especially for 200 bucks. But as you can see, we have a whole bunch more holes that we got to drill. So we're going to go ahead and get to that. Even with this thing, yeah, it's definitely a lot. But like that right there is a perfect hole. It's a beautiful hole. Definitely super happy with it. Also, another thing that we did to this table is that we used these casters that I have never really used before, and they're pretty freaking cool. So it obviously rolls around like a regular caster. But the cool party trick for these things is that they have this ratcheting mechanism that basically raises or lowers this pad so that you can essentially use it as a just regular leg, and it doesn't move anymore. Again, super cool. I got these off of Amazon. I'll leave you a link to those things as well too if you're interested in one of them. Okay, guys, so we've been at this for maybe like, yeah, but we took a break. No. Anyways, the total about an hour, and we've got most of the holes drilled. But I want to show you one of the coolest things that you can do with the mag drill. As you've already noticed, this thing's magnetic. So, clamp it on top, drill your holes, but you can use it in pretty much any position, as well as, overhead like this. So we're gonna go ahead and drill this hole and kind of show you. And just in case you were wondering, this is the little core that the drill pretty much drills out. I always thought these things were really cool. But anyways, like I said, yeah, this thing's been working awesome. We're over halfway done with all these holes. There's 96 holes here that we got to do, so definitely quite a bit, but we're almost there. Okay, guys, right, let me turn off the fan. It gets kind of hot in here. I'm actually gonna, in a later day, go around and do a whole kind of walk around video of this shop, because as you can see, it's a little bit different. But But today I just want to get these videos out. As you can see, we've got the table pretty much done, and we're actually using it. Now, unfortunately, I haven't been able to find the bolts that I want to use to make my fixture clamps. So right now we're kind of just using it as a regular table. Now, another thing that I'm going to do with this magnetic drill is I've made this, well, I forgot what to call it. This little stand, bracket, whatever, that we're going to use for the plasma table to mount on the wall somewhere over there. And we're going to mount it to the studs, so it's on 16-inch centers. And I'm going to go ahead and make a big hole on the front of these 1.25-inch tubes with the mag drill, so that I can use a wood screw and mount it to the wall. But what I got to do is make a bigger hole so that the bit can go through the tube, and on the back side do a smaller hole so that the screw doesn't go through, just the body of it basically. So the way that I'm going to do this, if like I told you, you don't have to like pierce a hole with anything. All you need to center one of these bits for a mag drill is just a punch. And as you can see, that's kind of what I've done. And that's all you would need. But like I said, I want to be able to go all the way through center. So what I'm going to do is, on that centering pin, drill a hole straight through both sides of the tube. That way, and I'll make it big enough for this screw to go through. That way, once I mount it, like I said, this screw will be able to mount, but not go all the way through, if that makes sense. But I'll be able to use a bit on this side. Again, like I said, hopefully that makes sense. We also can't use a drill bit that's too big. It's got to be smaller than that centering pin, which I think this one will work. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead, finish the rest of these holes, kind of show you how I'm going to use the mag drill. As you can see, I hope that this is enough, but I've got the part clamped to the table, and then obviously the mag drill is going to clamp itself to the table. And I basically just don't want this thing to move around while I'm drilling, which I don't think it will, but I hope it doesn't. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead, finish this thing up, mount it on the wall. We're also gonna make a couple of holes on this tube to mount the filters that are currently on the table. They're gonna go on this thing too. So yeah. Okay guys, and we're finally done with both our projects. Let me show you the little rack that I made for the plasma cutter. And that's basically what it turned out like. I'm actually really happy with the way that it looks and everything, but there's a couple of things that I guess I miscalculated. So first thing, I made this thing on 16-inch centers because I measured those ones over there, and all of those were on 16-inch centers. But where I wanted to put it, which was have that stick be right there, for whatever reason, they went from 16-inch centers to 19-inch centers. And it kind of screwed me up. So this leg basically didn't have any support, and I didn't want to like run to the store and get some drywall anchors or whatever. So I moved it over 16 inches to be on center over there, which I guess kind of works out because it kind of centers it on here a little bit. But that caused a little bit of a problem. The plug now doesn't reach our outlet, which, you know, kind of sucks, but it's not that bad because we have a really big extension cord over here that I'm just gonna plug there and then route to over here, and that should take care of that problem. If I feel like I'm not happy with it or whatever, I will move it back and figure out a way to make it be stable. Like right now it's stable as heck. It has a whole bunch of screws going directly through the stud, and like this thing is like, it's solid. It's not going anywhere. I'm not gonna do anything with this anyways right now because I still have to plumb that in, and once I plumb that in, I'll see how everything works out. So that thing's gonna live somewhere like right here. And what I was thinking about doing is I might have to actually redo this whole system, but we're gonna have the compressor go in to that machine. From that machine, it'll go through it, cool down, dry it. From that thing, we're gonna go to these filters, and from those filters, we're gonna go into the machine. But that's gonna be a project for tomorrow or another day. Right now, I'm just gonna make this work however I end up making it work. And yeah, like I said, I'm really gonna try and start making videos again. We've gotten to a point where we're a little bit more caught up with all the projects, so it should be a little bit easier to start making videos again. I really missed it, to be honest with you guys. It's just a lot has happened. And like I said, on the next video, I'll probably update you guys with the shop and life and everything. But yeah, if you guys had fun, you know, give it a like, leave any comments down below. Like I said, I'll leave you a few links for the mag drill and all that other stuff down below. Again, I'm super happy with it. But yeah, again, leave a like, leave any comments. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you for the next one.